Federal lawmakers have growing concerns about the mysterious aircraft popping up along the East Coast. Today, the military confirmed some of the unidentified craft have been flying over a naval weapons station in New Jersey. Fox 13's political editor Craig Patrick is now tracking this investigation and the fallout in Washington. Craig?
Yeah, it's really baffling at this point. The Biden administration says these are not U.S. military aircraft or drones, and that there's no evidence, they say, that this is a threat to national security. But see, members of Congress are saying there's also no evidence that they are not such a threat, and the sightings are piling up. First and mainly along the middle Atlantic coast, yes, but also all the way to Southern California.
We saw two that came directly overhead our backyard in South Temecula here, and then we've seen a bunch across the horizon.
I looked up because it was coming now right over top of me, and it was quiet. It didn't make any noise.
As we speak, the FBI says that it's trying to figure out what these things are, so we don't know exactly what we're dealing with. The sighting started in New Jersey and then New York, spread again across the middle Atlantic states, along the coast, then the Pacific coast. And if they are drones, then they are certainly flying at times and in places they should not.
This is a violation of FAA regulations, that's why I believe it's either our government or a foreign nexus that's operating these drones. And if it's not, then we really need the FAA and Department of Homeland Security to step up here, because there's a clear violation.
But not necessarily, according to the Biden administration, because the White House said that they appear to be small manned or crewed aircraft, not unmanned drones that would not have to adhere to the same set of FAA rules. There's also a number of claims, rumors that have taken off on social media and in the halls of power in Washington that this may be or is the work, as you just heard, of a foreign nation likely spying on us or doing who knows what. And members of Congress from both parties say the White House is not giving them enough information, that it either doesn't know what's going on, doesn't want to admit it, or knows what's going on, and for whatever reason does not want to admit it.
I've been a little frustrated. There hasn't been enough transparency.
We should be shot down if necessary, because they're flying over sensitive areas, whether it's planes that may be jeopardized or security at military bases.
Certainly I understand why people would be looking at this and being concerned about it.
Which brings us to the White House saying, yes, but don't be alarmed. And the follow-up question, okay, but why not? And then we'll get back to you on that part, which is raising so many vexing questions. The FBI has received reports of more than 3,000 sightings so far and counting, 50 just in one night in New Jersey. And again, claims that these may be drones, Iranian drones from a warship somewhere in the Atlantic or beyond. Those have specifically, Chris, been refuted by the Pentagon.
Craig, all of this is just baffling. Remember the Chinese spy balloon a couple of years ago that we let transverse the entire country before we shot it down over the Atlantic? At what point would the U.S. military consider, as Senator Blumenthal suggested, they're shooting these things down?
Yeah, that's a great analogy. The answer to the question is when it exhibits a clear threat to the U.S. military or to our nation. That's the actual wording in law, that it has to pose a specific threat, not necessarily an ambiguous threat. That tells us that the military does not see this as a direct threat at this point. Maybe they know more about this than all of us do. There's also the concern, as you noted with the spy balloon, that there could be some debris that could injure people below. There's a lot of calculus that goes into this, so we don't know exactly what U.S. intelligence and the military are thinking, because they are not specifically telling us.
Wild. Let's scramble some fighter jets and get up there and just check these things out. I mean, come on.
Yeah, and the thinking, shoot down at least one of them to be able to study the debris and figure out exactly what we're dealing with.
Yeah, okay. Let's hope someone puts together a plan here. All right, thanks, Craig.
Thank you.